kupula. The mission is mullah. We come from the corner. We come from the corner. We come from the corner.
That's right, 8:21, and we are back live on your radio. Mr. Cannibal featuring Kitty Cat, Little D, and wie is nog? KK is also on that one. It's titled Corner, the remix. Good morning, welcome back to the morning mix on Informanté Radio, and good morning to Maria, who also joins us in studio. Mora.
That's right, there we go. Good morning.
Mora.
Are you behaving yourself now?
I'm behaving myself.
Can we get started?
Yeah, we can get started.
There's a lot to get through.
All right. The first thing, of course, that I want us to touch on for this morning is just a little recap of of the presidential debates that were taking place last night. Two of our staff members were there, and Tati Shines and Miss Maria were both present. So, just give us an update. What transpired?
I think it was okay. It was a good setup. It was a good opportunity. I had fun. I certainly had fun. It was good to listen to, especially opposition parties, just engaging on issues. Perhaps if I have a criticism is the fact that it wasn't set up like a debate. It was set up like a question and answer.
A Q&A session.
Yeah, a Q&A session where every party got a different answer. It's only when it really got to the audience but then by then there wasn't enough time to really engage them. So I think this is something they could really look at. I mean, you're supposed to, ultimately the debate is you have one subject matter and everybody comes in and gives their opinions,
yes.
and even if they have to fight or shout over each other to kind of make it known, but that's what we understand by debate, not a question and answer. That would be like more a seminar. So that was my only criticism. Of course, then there was obviously disappointment that the independent candidate dropped out at the 11th hour. Yes, at the 11th hour. And this was, Eagle FM started off by making it clear why they were why they had set up the debate. They set up this presidential debate not so much for campaigning, but just so that to engage the electoral, because those are the people that are going to vote for you. So they get a better understanding of your ideologies and your vision for this country. And then they made mention. They said, but as they were introducing the people, said, unfortunately, the last space that should have been occupied by the good doctor will be left vacant because he cancelled at the last hour because he said that his fight or his race is with Hage and nobody else. And if Hage is not there, he has no reason to be there either. And of course, the crowd was disappointed with that because it undermines your supporters. Like, a lot of people came out to hear you speak.
Yes.
Now you're saying you're not relevant. I wanted to come on stage to debate one person. And if that person's not going to show up, I'm not going to show up. But here's the thing. Hage already, 3 weeks ago, it was already clear that Hage is not going to come. A week ago, it was already clear that Hage is not going to come. Hage is never confirmed. So for him to pull out at the 11th hour, while it was advertised that he was going to be there, and when I know for a fact a lot of people, they came to listen to him specifically and engage him and might have had questions for him, and for him not to just show up, that was a problem. But here's the funny thing. Then I think he put it out on Twitter that he cancelled on the 11th hour because Hage is not there. He gets all this criticism. For whatever reason, he decides to come to the...
To come.
Hey, Thakom, but... He came, but Eagle FM denied him access. They were like, Buruji is lad, and you already declined. And we know already that you're not going to do this in the spirit of what this debate was because you already told us your issues with Hage. And this is not the spirit of the debate.
So, Maria, wacht bietjie. So this guy had the audacity to cancel, and then later on, emotions got to him because it can't be anything else but emotions.
Yes.
Emotions got to him because he was watching this live stream. Say, now I'm going. So out of nowhere, he pitches up there. So what happened?
They escorted him out.
Okay, you know, my interest is, did they actually discuss some of the issues? And if they did, what stood out to you?
I must say, I must really say that I think the impressive candidates were LPM and PDM. But like, I mean, we know Henry Vanani is a very good speaker, and we know that Bernardo Swartboy is also a good speaker, and they're amongst the youngest on that panel, which I think for a lot of people also looking, you're like, okay, well, a youthful leader, you know, but they really tackled the issues as they understood them, and I didn't even have a chance to look at the LPM manifesto until yesterday.
Yeah.
But even just browsing it, because I didn't have time to like go through it. I must say, very impressed. I must say I was very impressed. So those were the two standouts, and I think everybody will agree. Swanu had some good messages, but the delivery was very poor. And he's older, and he was taking offense at not being called a doctor, and gave us a whole history. And people were just not impressed. And he wouldn't answer questions. He first would give us the long history of Swanu and the longest running official opposition. Nobody cared about Dr. Iyambo's things. Esther of Nudo was a bit of a disappointment. Not even a bit. I think completely a disappointment for me to a large degree, because she's the only female presidential candidate. And not only that, she's a social worker by profession.
Yeah.
So I expect her to understand perhaps issues that other people don't. I understand her to stand, like when I see, I should see, yes, a leader, but also somebody that's representing me as a woman, because we are still disenfranchised. So I was very disappointed that when she was asked, for example, on the opinion of abortion, she danced around it. Yeah, it's something we will have to take to the community to discuss. I mean, it's being discussed. You need to take a position on it now. So she couldn't bring herself to take any position on it.
That's bad.
Yeah, and I would have thought, in light of the SGBV, sexual and gender-based violence that's happening in this country, it's in the news every day. Women are the biggest victims of all of this. I would have expected her to lead that conversation about that. She didn't. We know, for example, women getting into school, passing their matric at a higher rate than boys. More girls than boys are entering university and graduating at a higher rate than boys. More girls than boys are entering the job market at a higher rate than boys. But most women only end up at middle management. So we're saying we're more qualified than men, realistically in numbers, but it doesn't translate. I would have also thought like how she can tell us just systems she can put in place to, because if you go further to the north, it's my grandmother that's holding down that household. It's my grandmother waking up at 5, plowing the field to ensure that her family is fed. It's my grandmother, not my grandfather. So even in agriculture, it's the women that are holding it down, but they don't get the same amount of care that men do. And I liked her to address that. And then also teenage pregnancy is a problem. Girls go into school, fall pregnant, they leave to go give birth. They are allowed to come back, but we know a large percentage don't ever return, because once you start caring for a baby, that's your lifetime commitment. And now you're not educated, you're left to a life of poverty because you're not educated. You can't get a job, you didn't even complete your school, so realistically you can't get a good paying job to support your family and to support yourself. So that's, you're looking to a phase of poverty. So I think as a woman, understanding this issue, because also she is a social worker, and I mean she deals with it on a case to case, I would have expected that. She didn't. So that was a disappointment. On RDP, let me not even waste my time. RDP is a dead party.
I mean,
RDP tried to be eloquent with whatever, but, I think he touched on issues where I think, this is somebody that's also heading Trans-Namib at some point.
Oh, yeah.
But then he's there telling us about the transportation issues, or he's criticizing SOEs. But he was heading them. He was heading
NHE, Trans-Namib.
He was heading SOEs. So I'm just, I think sometimes people forget. I really think they conveniently forget when they address these issues. And it's easy to be a hypocrite when you are now trying to talk about reform. But when you're in the system, when you could have made the change that you needed to do, you failed in your execution.
I think he made a tactical mistake there by pointing out that he was heading these institutions.
He wanted to brag about it.
He wanted to brag about it, and it backfired.
Yeah.
I mean, spectacularly when people.
But which RDP were they? Because they stole the candy over.
No, it was Mike. So but obviously no COD. That's also a dead party. No RP with their one seat in parliament.
Who's the president of the COD at the moment?
Is it the Canons? Warriors?
Do they have a candidate protesting the presidency or contesting the presidency?
I believe so, yeah.
Is it? Wow.
Is Mr. Benulenga still in politics? Is he still involved in it? Do we
I
know?
would think it's still Ben, but I never know.
When we last wrote about him, remember it was that mass rally in Oshakati where he attended with Team Swapo.
Benulenga. Oh, okay.
Politics really polarizing topic. Right?
It's very polarizing.
Even just from like my first two comments for today, just shows you how people are really on opposite spectrums of the issues.
Which is good.
Bradley Kubisep saying, morning crew, my vote moved from Itula just because of yesterday's tantrums. What arrogance and ignorance, no.
Yeah, may I quickly add to that?
No,
My brother was there. No, I'll let you finish. Sorry, are you done with this comment?
Yeah, no, I just wanted to read the next one and then we sort of discuss the two of them. Because Lawrence Foreman says, Dr. Itula is right not to attend the debate. How do you debate in the absence of the main ruling lion? It would have been a waste of time, as the nation wanted to also hear the opinion of the president. Anything else is, as what transpired, is simply a lot of noise with no significant substance without the two alpha lions.
I just need to say, maybe just on that second comment, and I think what Maria was touching on, if that's your take on it, then he should have been consistent in not turning up at all last night, because for him to turn around, I mean, at the last minute, to then be part of the conversation.
I'm not coming, now I'm here.
Yeah, shows that there's a lot of dabble around. He's a doubting Thomas.
Yeah.
So for me, that's an own goal that he scored last night. It doesn't need to. I don't need to say here which candidate I support or don't support. But from an objective point of view, you can't be doing something like that. I, for instance, if he was my candidate, there was no way after last night's showing or no showing and then showing that I would trust this guy.
Yeah. I wanted to add to that. A lot of the conversation I had outside was he had lost a lot of support. That I can say. There's a lot of people that came out and said, you know what, I have to relook at this strategy.
Yeah.
But more than that, and here's the problem. And somebody's saying, yeah, well, the lion is not. The problem with Itula, and this is, I'll go on record and say it right now, is that he overestimates his power and he underestimates platform like the one that was created yesterday for him to get his message across. So in his mind, this is a two-man race and everybody else is irrelevant.
Yeah.
That is a wrong attitude to have. It's a very wrong attitude. So he's overestimating his power. And this overestimation of his power might be severely disappointing for him at the polls. But you don't ever, as a first timer, you need to remember that he's not tried and tested. He is not tried and tested. He's a first timer. I would think you would at the very least, come in with, I don't know, just a bit of, I don't want to say humble, but just a better strategy. Because you can't come in the way he's coming in. Now, on Swapo, after the debate, and on my way home, and I thought about this, there was, if I'm being also 100% honest, I was glad Dr. Hage Geingob didn't show up. Why? Number one, it allowed us to really listen to the opposition without the conversation directed in the perceived or alleged failures of Swapo. Because if Hage had been there, that would have been the bulk of the conversation. All questions, all directions, everybody would have been on Hage's case. And then you don't really hear what the opposition parties have to say.
Good point.
So for me, that was also a blessing in disguise, because you actually got to listen to what they have to say. We rarely, because we are so focused on SWAPO, for good or for bad. We're always so focused, and understandable. They're 2/3.
They're the ruling party.
They're the ruling party. That's where the focus is. But what it means is, because the noise is so loud on that side, we rarely hear what the other ones are saying. So it was nice to remove that giant of a party and to just kind of, for a change, listen. Like, there's a lot of things I learned today about the other parties that I obviously wouldn't have on any platform, and I certainly wouldn't have learned about it had Hage been there, because I can tell you right now, all focus, it would have been a Hage and Itula contest, and
Everybody else would
everybody
not have
else,
answered.
and that is a problem, and that is not how you have debate and national discourse and address bread and butter issues and the issues we have.
Yeah.
It's not how you do it.
Okay, just looking at some of the comments, just on Itula's approach, like we were saying, it's a bit short-sighted, because I mean, in the unlikely event that he ends up winning, right, he's going to need these other guys from the other parties to sort of consolidate his power, like in the National Assembly or in the smaller houses of Parliament and so on. So if you are already alienating all these people, because we already know SWAPO, as we know it, is not it's not necessarily gonna embrace him.
No, they won't embrace him.
Yes, if he does win, so he's gonna need the support of the other guys. So I don't know who's advising him, but you guys need to really look at your strategy. But anyway, getting to the comments, Leonie Llewellyn Strauss, Maria, future president.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see. Yeah.
I second that. I just want Minister of Finance. Please.
Sport and culture.
That's next hell, that's it.
Hey, just alone that boxing here. Lawrence Foreman, emotions aside, we all know that the battle for the presidential seat is truly only between the current president and Dr. Itula. The other candidates do not stand a slightest chance.
I disagree.
Anymore. I don't think so anymore.
Wait, let me finish the comment. It then makes sense that Dr. Itula wanted to engage with his true opponent, Dr. Hage. This being the case, the other candidates had a motivation to still go on with the debate, because in addition to their presidential ambitions, they are also contesting for seats in Parliament. So it was a good opportunity for them to canvass for parliamentary votes, which Dr. Itula is not contesting for. And Bran Boskay, you guys are coming through with really long comments today. Right? Give me some reading work, why don't you? My opinion, lackluster, merely a Q&A. Right? Expected a heated exchange, but positive things we saw the mindset and projections of the kind of leadership all these guys have to offer. Bradley Kubi said, I don't know Venani and Swartboy. I didn't know Venani and Swartboy until yesterday. They are beyond capable and exhibit leadership qualities. These are the two candidates I would be proud to call my presidents. But unfortunately, I only have one vote.
You must split it.
Come on. If you listen,
Half for you, half for you.
if you listen to some of the ECN critics, you have more than one. But anyway, Hans Hangwe, I attended but had to leave early. But it was not impressive. Right? So, mixed opinions coming from last night.
Yeah.
One of the things I take away from this is, number one, I think it was a great initiative. Huh?
It was.
It was well done. You have lots of voices and great expectations.
Chris, you attended, eh?
No.
You could.
He also pulled out the 11th hour.
Yes, because Itula told me to meet him somewhere. So we discussed, and I said, I don't think we must go. I had another appointment, but I listened in the car to the radio. And I just thought to myself, because I heard that some people were leaving the venue when they heard Itula is not coming.
No, not immediately. No.
But after a while.
Yeah, after a while.
Okay, the point I want to make is, the youth, and I must qualify that, the different sections of the youth, or the different ages, have been disappointed many, many times. And I think in this case, not showing up to a nice event that the youth and the young voters were looking forward to. Went through all the trouble to go there.
Yeah.
It was also after work, not directly after work. You have first to go somewhere else, then come. And you think about that, then it's a pity that the candidate, doesn't matter who he is, disappoints people who turn up for it. It is really, to me, it's not.
Yeah.
I must say, I'm disappointed because so many others were disappointed.
Yeah.
That's the point I want to make.
Yeah, because you need to remember, and somebody say, oh yeah, but the ruling party, well, the ruling party was never on the poster, because they never confirmed their attendance.
Yeah.
So anybody that went there for who they thought would be available for the debate. And Itula was unfortunately one of them.
Yes.
So there's a large percentage of people that just went there for him.
He was arguably the biggest
The draw card.
draw card.
I don't know if I would say the biggest draw card. There were a lot of people there that were very in support of. Already from the beginning, you could see like LPM, and they wanted to listen to TDM and whoever. So I wouldn't say it's the biggest draw card, but I think even whether you support Itula or not, I think there were also those people that wanted to question the authenticity of his candidacy,
Yeah.
even if they're not supporters, even if they're skeptics. So it was equal supporters and skeptics. But yeah, he was a no-show, and that was very disappointing. Like I said, that actually harmed him. that harmed him.
Apparently, he was knocking at the, on the door. He said, "If you don't let me in, I'm leaving." But Maria, after
According to the Constitution, this is my technical, it's my right to enter the
Section 4.
Section 4 of the.
Maria, at around we spoke around 6 o'clock, around 6:30, and I so much wanted to come, to the event, but at that time. I was already home, and I was like, and I didn't train yesterday afternoon, so I decided to jog. So I caught up with the with the debate around 7:30, and like you do say, I think what really stood out for me was how articulate Vanani and Swartboy was, and were, and I think in my view, and I could see how the audience was responding to what they were saying. And Swartboy really, I think he made a good showing of the opportunity last night.
He always does in these public settings.
Must be honest about Swartboy. For the longest time, and I'll put it on record, I have no problem speaking my mind.
Yeah.
For the longest time, I used to think of Swartboy as a tribalist. And that's what... maybe put me off supporting him.
It's tribal politics.
Yeah, that anti-Awambo agenda and pro-whatever. And yes, maybe it's a tribalist, so Awambo, it's not really the issue. But yesterday I was able to get over myself. When I say get over myself is, I speak for minority groups as well. And I speak for minority groups. I'm talking about the LGBTQ community. We advocate for them. And apart from that, I like to speak for disenfranchised people, like women in this case, right? So when I speak to power like that, a lot of times people can also say the same thing about, but why Black Lives Matter, not all lives matter? Why women and not human beings? Why, you understand? But it's important to speak for marginalized communities. And we know that in terms of development in the South and development in the North is disproportionate. So he's trying to empower his people, at least so that it's an even playing field. He's not wrong to do that. It's, in fact, it should be done. There should be somebody empowering the marginalized and the disempowered. But I didn't necessarily always look at it that way, because I just thought, this guy is so tribalist. I don't want a tribalist leader.
He just wants to give everything to the Namas. He just wants to give everything
to the Namas. And I actually don't think he will be that leader. I don't necessarily think like once he's in power, it's like, I think his passion, his beat is the youth. He really, and his message yesterday, like it constantly emphasized the youth and empowering the youth. And not only, it didn't seem like his agenda was like this utopia that can't be
He did say land. He wants to give
realistic
land for
promises.
free.
Yeah, he wants. This is the other thing. So he said, no, all young professionals should get land for free, and people were like, like it's unrealistic. He says, you see, that's a problem. Like, I see something that is very, very attainable.
Yeah.
And there's already skepticism. But really, if you want to give land for free, what do you have to do as a country? You only have to develop that land.
Exactly.
Right? And then give it for free to first-time homeowners that are professionals. He says,
Yes.
why I say professionals, because then you have an income coming in. He says, the problem is a lot of young professionals have to spend that money on buying the land that is very expensive. By the time you buy the land, you don't have money to build.
Yeah.
Now you have to wait till you secure those funds from wherever to build. Says that shouldn't be your start in life. Once you're a professional, you're working, you're in the job market, you have no house, you should be able to get a land for free and you can build it. It seems unrealistic, but really, like I said, the money that you actually really need is just the servicing of land. And then to add to that, he said, for example, this capitalist system we live in is a willing buyer, willing seller.
Yeah.
We can't really have it in an unequal society because people with money, with the means, will always be in a better position than people without the means. And unfortunately, majority are without the means. That's why you have some people with 10 houses and some people with 0.
I think that was one of the things that Vanani was touching on, and I think he distinctively spoke about the land, the vacant land that was up for auction in academia. I mean, we had exorbitant prices of those pieces of land, and I think some of those plots or those erven went up. I think something like $1.5 million for an 800,000 square erf, and
That's all I
like
need
you
to build.
and like you say, you don't have the money now to build because you just bought this erf. So people end up never to build a house for themselves. So they really touched on some very important issues last night. But I do agree, and I didn't see it this way, Cubase. I think, Maria, what you say, I think everybody's expectations was that why wasn't the president there? Or why was SWAPO not represented there? Then again, as I was looking at the setting last night, and I was telling myself, you know what? If SWAPO was there, I mean, the whole attack or the whole focus would really have just been on SWAPO, especially on the failures of SWAPO, on why this and why that, etc. to offer. So, and like you say, last night for the first time, I was really sitting there at home and watching the live stream and really see how these guys are articulating exactly what they have to offer. So, people had a lot to say about the moderator and about this and about that, on the streaming, but we tend to forget the focus as it was the first of its kind, and we need to commend Eagle FM for creating the platform.
Kom ek lees my eers comments. Gayton Curtis, Miriam has a point. And now I'm not even going to bother correcting you guys anymore. You can call her Miriam if you want.
Yeah, Miriam.
I'm not offended.
Miriam.
Chandri Imogen Niels, true Maria, and Raimo Katindi says not true. So true Maria and not true. I don't know.
Maybe they're not true. It's not for me.
Christian Yakuabi, shout out to the old man. Hey, the top is like And Don Mushongo, the reason why Itula could not show up early is his suit was still at the dry cleaning. It was delivered to him around 7:30. Chandri saying, "It's a Cubase. Your phone set up silence." What?
Yeah.
Die tama.
Die tama.
That's the silence knop op die tama. Maar je moet net afzetten.
Die probleem is als ik hem op silence zet, dan vergeet ik en die ding vibrate. Then I get home, it's like 24 missed calls from my wife, like Kuru Hanje. Right, Tio Julie, what is your frequency in Ondangwa?
Wacht. Let's go through this.
In Ondangwa is 105.6 at the bottom of Shakati. It says Shakati.
105.6, yes.
That's the entire, actually from about 10 kilometers from once you pass Oshivelo into Ovamboland, I think the frequency starts catching from there up until southern Angola. So almost the whole of Ovamboland is covered by that one frequency, 105.6. So Omthia, Ondangwa, Ongodiba, all of you guys, Oshivelo and so on. I don't know most of the little towns in between. I was like, no. Alina Tupopila Amuku. Maria is spot on. Okay. Raimo Gatindi. Itula can elect other people and not the current ones, all right? You choose the people that you think are suited for the job.
I've heard that before. I need to finish so I can correct that.
I know that comment.
I've heard this, and then I really wonder when youth, especially the youth that says it, do you understand the Constitution? There's a party list. So if SWAPO gets 2/3 majority, the seats is based on their list. There's already a list out.
No, but he's not contesting the parliament. I think the person is alluding to like ministerial positions.
No, what I'm saying is, but here's the thing, because he's campaigning for SWAPO, even though he's not.
But for me, that doesn't make sense.
Listen
no,
to
I'm
the
saying
point.
that his campaigning for SWAPO does not make sense.
Yes, and I want to add why it doesn't make sense even. Because then what it ultimately means is that the opposition, like I said, will most likely end up with less seats in parliament. Right? So you have people in parliament, when he's choosing his cabinet, right, he's looking at the people in the National Assembly. He can have an additional names, is it 6 non-voting members, but he has to look at who is there. You know? That's where he's looking for his cabinet. But if you only say you have 3 seats now of opposition, because everybody was voting for SWAPO, because you also campaign for SWAPO, at the expense, who are you choosing from? But
like the cabinet, I mean the independent candidacy, if he does win the presidency, he won't have sort of a party in parliament, which means when you come there, whatever it is that you want to implement as far as laws or policies or whatever, you have to get the approval of the majority of parliament, whether it's LPM members, PDM members, SWAPO members, whatever. And that's why I was saying he's making it difficult because he's already alienating this other parties, and those are the people that he's going to need if he does win.
And to add to that, he can be a president for one day and get impeached the next day. SWAPO certainly has the numbers.
Motion of no confidence.
Motion of no confidence. So, but like I said, okay, the people saying he doesn't have to have. No, your cabinet has to come from your National Assembly seats. That's your cabinet, all right? Because who are you choosing? They have to come from there. So these are the people that have to sit in the National Assembly for discourse. So your Minister of Health has to be in the National Assembly. Your Ministry of Education has to be in the National Assembly, and so forth. You know, because how are you engaging the topics and the issues if you're not in the National Assembly? You can be represented, but the point is that is most likely where he'll go. But if nobody's on his team.
But you know what? Since he missed the debate last night, maybe we should get him into studio and he can come explain himself.
Trust me, you don't want that.
Mutatio Carstens. Mr. Itula is a disappointment. I had issues with his so-called manifesto already, and he has just shown how trivial and shallow he is. All right, he is his is a personal thing and has no interest of the people. My opinion, though, now I know who has my vote. Mutekurwa Mbanje Namakena. Meria, you are way too biased. That's completely wrong. I don't know what exactly you were referring to, since we've touched on a couple of things. Anyway, Angula J. Angula, please, what is your frequency in Ondangwa? Ondangwa is 105.6. 105, just check the wall behind us. You'll see
105.6.
Oshakati, the Oshakati frequency is the same actually for the entire northern area, like I was saying. But that's anyway also an old comment. So my bad. Joseph Shikongo, for how long is Venani fighting for better Namibia? Itula just came now in our heads last month, September. Just sidebar. Last month. Isn't it supposed to be the month before last?
Whatever.
What the hell is last month?
It's all right. Engels is on yesterday.
Nee, man. Okay, anyway, with the same speeches as Venani gave before, then we will vote him. Now is Itula. Itula is busy confusing the nation. Itula never did something good for the nation in his 6 years in the House, but in 3 months he wants to rule, and we must be careful. All right, Mariana Guriras, Neville Basson, Itula said, expielni mierni. Alizoni Nyembo, only Oshakati dear, 105.6 FM. No, it's not only Oshakati, it's actually the entire north.
Expielni mierni.
That transmitter is a massive transmitter. Lawrence Foreman, the truth is our president cannot debate, and he knew he will be destroyed. None of our former presidents has the ability to stand a debate. All right, NBC used to host a question and answer session. Dr. Hage once walked out of the show because he could not stand the session, I guess, or more to say, the debate. Okay, Matilda Haufiku, you guys are a joke. Thank you. I hope we're making you laugh. Lizoni Nyambo, okay, I read that comment already. Alton Black, it was an opportunity to shift our political narrative from its current ethnocentricity to an ideological narrative, which is commendable. A pity the two candidates who pride themselves in their intellectual prowess did not show. Sylvester Pea Capoeira. The debate's supposed to be between the current president and other presidential candidates. Yes and no.
SWAPO had nothing to lose.
Yeah, Mutekura, but they definitely had something to gain.
No. SWAPO didn't have anything to lose or anything to gain. This is what I'm trying to say.
No, they do have something to gain. It means campaign season, there are a lot of people like who they could have
I'm
somehow convinced to.
But that's what I'm trying to tell you.
But you can't say no, Maria. You can't speak for me. For instance, if I had watched the debate, my mind would have changed. For instance, if they were there
to vote for SWAPO.
Yes.
No.
How do you know that?
I think with SWAPO is, let me tell you, to be honest, even if they mess up, right? Even if they catastrophically mess up, in the hearts of SWAPO supporters, it doesn't matter. It's a cult.
But it's not all SWAPO supporters. That's what you get.
But a majority.
Remember, a lot of that cult is in the cult because they are following the directions of somebody else. But anyway, that is a discussion we can have.
Do you know why? Yes, but
do
you know why the president can say, "Meet me at the polls," when he's challenged? The youth, you have a problem with me. Meet me at the polls. He can say that stuff because they know the cult that is SWAPO. Sorry, when I say this, I will quickly, I'll make this very quick. When I say they've got nothing to lose or nothing to gain, is we've seen over the years, SWAPO has been in power since independence till today. They seem to be getting stronger by the day. Even if there's a bit of a fall, it's still enough for them to be comfortably in power. Yeah. They are sitting on that high horse right now. So it's not for the other parties.
No, Maria, let me tell you the problem I have with what you're saying is you're saying SWAPO is going to win.
No.
Whether they're there, whether they're not, it doesn't matter. But because that's what it sounds like.
That's what I'm saying. I'm saying they think they're going to win. They think they're going to win. That's why
that's wrong. You can't help them parrot that message because it's wrong.
But you don't think they're going to win?
I don't care whether they're going to win or lose.
Do you think they're going to win or lose?
No, but I know them appearing in front of the public will help them. Kind of support will help iron out some of the issues.
There's no way that SWAPO is
fighting amongst each other.
There's no way, in my view, that SWAPO is going to lose this election.
No way.
I think maybe what would be key here is that. I think with the last election, they scored a resounding 86 or 85%.
No, the president got 87%.
And then the party?
The party,
85?
well, they got 2/3 majorities. I can't remember what that translates.
I think it was around 85, 84%.
And what was bigger than the previous?
Yeah.
Yes, of course.
Now, the question is obviously, with what we've seen, I don't know if the debates of last night would make significant inroads exactly as to what people will be voting on the 27th of November. But I think the challenge would be for the ruling party to see, can we either maintain that or improve that? Anything less than what they obviously got, in the last election would be frowned upon, like you had in South Africa with the ANC, where there was a significant drop in their votes. In last year's elections.
It wasn't that significant. Actually.
Yeah. Oh, okay, it wasn't that significant, but but the mere fact that you do lose votes sort of send alarming bells out there. But SWAPO will win this election.
Yeah, the conversation
comfortably.
The conversation I had outside was that I think the debate benefited those people that were undecided or they thought they were somewhere. People like me that are still looking for answers.
Yes.
Yeah.
Had the most to win. But even me in looking answers, I knew I wasn't going to go SWAPO. because I don't want to give two-third majority, and I've already stated that. So even if SWAPO had come there and gave me the best message, you need to understand that SWAPO's been in power. We've seen them actually do the work.
But that's
so
your
they can't
thinking, Maria.
No,
That's not
yes,
every.
I
You know
am
the
thinking,
electorate is not as intellectual as you.
Yes, but what I'm trying to say.
The majority of them, anyway.
But if you would just understand what I'm trying to say, you would stop fighting me and just see what I'm saying. I'm not trying to convince you.
I'm listening.
Yes,
I'm listening.
Because they've been in power, we've been able to see what they have done and what they haven't been able to do. So even now, if they come and try and make us promises, for us it's rhetoric. It's promises you're making, you're failing to deliver. Or it's promises you've maintained. But because they've been in power, they are in that position. Where is in the opposition, this is why I'm saying the opposition party, whether it's the independent candidate or the parties, they can't think like that as well. Like, I don't have to show up to this thing because my fight is with that person. It's because you are the person that you need to get to the heart of the people to take votes away from SWAPO. You need to get to the hearts of the people. And if you don't take platforms like yesterday to get to the hearts of the people, so that's what I'm saying, they have the most to lose and gain from taking or rejecting this opportunity and these platforms. For SWAPO, it's an easy sale. They might not get the numbers they do, but it's an easy sale because one thing I can guarantee you is that SWAPO will still be in power tomorrow.
Look, by your logic, they don't need to campaign or hold rallies because we already know they've been in power for 30 years. Everything that they're going to tell us is rhetorical at this point.
Yeah, but people like to come to their campaigns and listen to this. They're incited. It's on saying SWAPO songs, and you are reminded why you are voting for SWAPO.
And do you think that helps grow the support of the party?
I think it sustains their support, not necessarily a growth. I would even say sometimes over the years, I'm hoping we'll see a decline because the youth is getting more empowered. But for now, right now, it's sustainable. You need to remember the cult I'm talking about is that grandmother passes it on to a child, child passes it on to, it's like the whole family from the time you're 3 years old. From me, I've got a picture where I'm 2 years old and I'm wearing SWAPO colors. At the age of 2, what did I know? I have a picture at 5 with my hand in the air. What do I know? But this is the environment in which we are raised, especially in the north. You are raised in this SWAPO cult, and so you don't really grow up. It's like Christianity. You don't really grow up to question
Maria,
God.
statag.
No, I'm just saying you don't. No, this is what I'm trying to say when I say it's a cult. You don't question God. You might not agree with things and you have all these questions, and God hasn't been kind to you, but you don't really question Him because that's God. Yeah. So this is the cult I'm talking about. These kids, they see Gaza performing at a SWAPO rally, they are excited, they're excited. That is SWAPO for you. And that cult needs to be done away with for us to actually really start making inroads. That's why they're comfortable.
But like you're speaking from an object, like...
Am I not better suited than you, I would say, since I grew up in the north? Where the support base is, am I maybe not more qualified than you to make that assessment? Wouldn't you say?
Which assessment?
That the SWAPO cult that we grew up in.
Look, whether I agree with the fact that SWAPO is a cult in the first place, or whether the cult should be done away with or not, for me is beside the point. Unlike this public engagements, right? That's where we, the voters, gauge whether and there are a lot of young people who are brought up in the cult, who are seeking answers, or who are reading the news every day, who are thinking, wait, is this really what I think it is? Is what is happening here? And obviously, hearing it from Neville saying, yeah, Ned, those people are doing this, and then Maria saying those people are doing this, and that person is not there to speak for themselves. Do you get what I'm saying? for them to be there. Imagine if McHenry's or
I'm just sitting here drinking my water.
Or what's the LPM guy? Swart Boy, all right, talking about land. It's like, no, we'll give land for free. Then Hage tells you, no, but then giving land for free. Imagine how many plots you're going to have to service. This is going to cost the government this much and this much and this much. That means you're probably going to have to raise taxes, which is going to hurt middle income or whatever. You understand? Because somebody who's dealing with the policies. So these people are also not just there parroting things and selling us the same dreams that SWAPO has been selling us.
Yeah, but what I'm saying, my thing is if SWAPO would have actually most likely lost more support had they attended. They knew that, weighing that in, because they need to be the most accountable. Yeah. And they can't account for everything, unfortunately. So they would have been in a very bad position after the debate, and they knew that, and that's why they didn't come.
All right, guys, I have like over 60 comments. Unfortunately.
And mind you, guys, it was really nice for me just to sit here and just see the exchange, between my two colleagues here. That we completely forgot that there was one major topic that we will discuss that tomorrow. Obviously, everybody has seen the WikiLeaks the WikiLeaks expose of our Minister of Fisheries and associates allegedly involved in a certain scandal.
Why are you not naming him?
Nee.
Why do you start things and you can't say? You must say things with your chest. It's in the public domain. Let me just say, Fishing Minister Bernard Esau and Justice Minister Saki Shangala and close friends, associates, business partners have been implicated in WikiLeaks expose. Terrible stuff. We're talking about recordings, secret recordings. We're talking about bank statements. We're talking about private emails. We're talking about photos, a gallery of privately taken pictures, agreements, discussions, WhatsApp messages, screenshots, and so forth. A long list. We're talking about over 30,000 documents to go through if this is what you want to do for the rest of the day, if you are not having other obligations, and maybe discuss tomorrow. But this is something that I have said this morning entering here. I said, there's no way they're going to survive this. There is enough there to prosecute, but we can discuss tomorrow.
I will not be discussing this issue with you guys tomorrow because I applied for a fishing quota. Yeah. So, Brad, jelle se goed morgen. I will not be in studio tomorrow. Okay? I applied for a fishing quota. I will not speak on this issue. Ek soek my zaak.
En is so sleg when Al Jazeera is on the case. Yo. Now, when an international network like Al Jazeera is investigating you,
it was brutal.
It's
the videos that I've seen.
Bad.
Yeah.
But anyway,
we'll discuss that tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
Bye,
Okay,
guys.
but close. Is that how you close? Bye.
Bye.
14 days before we go to the polls, guys. Exactly 2 weeks before election day.
Make your voice known.
That Wednesday is a public holiday. That's what I'm looking forward to the most.
Can vote.
So, guys, are we coming in that morning?
Let's go.
That's going to be the most interesting day to be on the air. But yeah. I don't think I'm going to be in studio. All right, guys, enjoy the rest of the Wednesday.
Lovely day.
I'm telling you, Cubase, it's the only thing that I'll be doing for this whole day. I'll just be going through this WikiLeaks files
I didn't sleep last
that
night.
Maria was talking about. You didn't sleep? Okay, but you never sleep, like you say.
Yeah, that's a problem.
Come on.
Enjoy, guys.
Let me not start reading comments again. Ghost Chip. All right, bye, guys.
Weekday mornings from 6 to 9, Monday